Peso Crafting presents VF-0S with Ghost Fighter Transformation. Previously, I went through the Gerwalk transformation, showing what's involved, pointing out difficult or confusing steps. The Gerwalk did look good. Now we will do the same for the fighter's transformation. The transformation from Gerwalk to fighter mode is described over 3 pages in the manual. Here are the pages with the original Japanese on the left and a Google translated English version on the right. I will be using the English translated version for our convenience. I will go through the transformation and then give my thoughts on the fighter configuration. Now let's get transforming! To start, I will be taking off the fast pack armor parts from the VF-0S Gerwalk. Keep track of all the parts and don't lose anything. It is now back to the standard Gerwalk. Pull off the gun hand. I am changing the pitot tube back to the short one. I think the long pitot tube just gets in the way and is a breaking risk. I am placing the toy upside down on a piece of foam. Got to be gentle with these expensive toys. I have to pull off the stand attachment. Taking it off is a lot more difficult than putting it on. It's hard to pull on the part and also hard to pry it from its bottom. I am going to work on the left arm fist. You know it's bad when I have to make an excuse to take a break from working on the stand attachment. The correct fist is already mounted on the left arm. Lift up the panel on the forearm. This allows you to push the fist in. The fist does not slide fully into the forearm. The armor on the back of the fist remains visible. Now push the forearm back towards the elbow. Now, I'm going to move on to attach the right fist. back to trying to get that stand attachment off. I should have followed the step 2 instructions to detach the leak jet intakes from the main body. This should free up more space to work on the stand attachment. The jet intake connection is tighter than I expected. Taking quite a bit of effort to get both legs detached. The stand attachment is still not coming off. I have raised up the bar supporting the legs to give better access to that stand attachment. The stand attachment stayed attached to the leg central bar. That makes it a lot more accessible. Now, finally, got it off. After all that trouble, the trick is to detach the legs from the body and raise up the leg central bar so that you can easily get to the stand attachment. I am glad to share in this fun together with you. Subscribe to Laser News and turn on notifications so you know what I am up to. Help me reach the 500 subscriber milestone. Step 3 involves a complex rotation of the arms. The difficulty here is getting the shoulders to move around the legs. I am pushing the leg central bar back down onto the main body again. I move the arms in between the legs. Observe that the top of the forearm is facing towards the back of the fighter. Adjust the fist so that the armor on the back of the fist also faces towards the back, aligned with the forearm. I am securing the jet intakes to the main body again. Here, I am putting the jet intakes back into the same position with the legs bent as if it was in Gerwalk. You actually don't need to do this, as the movements to rotate the arms will likely pop the jet intakes off again, leaving them disconnected from the body. So yeah, it's not worth doing this right now. This step of rotating the arms so that the underside of the forearm faces backwards took me about 20 minutes to do. I am not going to bore you with watching me fumble my way through this, so I will cut to the useful steps. As mentioned earlier, the problem is moving the shoulders around the legs. The arms need to be moved towards the rear. Getting them to move was the difficult part. Step 4 in the manual showed how it was to be positioned, but how did one get there? At this point, the right arm popped off. Now, this is an option to move the arm, but it is certainly not the best option. The difficulty in putting back the arm is that the shoulder hinge keeps moving when trying to clip it back to the rail. That is why, even though the manual mentions the arm coming off as a possibility, I would not recommend this to reposition the hinge as it is very inconvenient. I got the arm back on, but the position still isn't right. Finally got both arms rotated. Referencing this step in step 4, the shoulder hinge is supposed to be moved towards the back to allow the shoulder to swivel around the legs. Right now the hinge is in the forward position as in step 5. Prying with my fingernail, I am unable to move the hinge. The proper way to move the shoulder joint is to use a flat edge thing to push the joint along the metal rail. Once you get it going, it slides firmly along the rail. Step 5 shows how the arms are to be folded to form the fuselage of the fighter. I am making adjustments to the arms. Note how the shoulders have to be moved forward, positioning the shoulders against the head. Pay attention to step 6 as it shows you how to mount the gun port and the relationship to the arms from step 5. I am raising the shoulder up on its hinge to try to get it to angle down against the head as shown in the step 5 diagrams. See how I am able to slide the hinge with my finger now. At this point, you should be able to reconnect the jet intakes to the main body now. The harder steps are over and the legs should stay in place now. Got the legs reconnected to the body. Not an exact fit. I got some gaps. Getting the pegs on the jet intakes to line up with the hole on the body and the side peg is difficult. I need to push the shoulder hinge forward again. You can see I got the end of the shoulders tucked under the back of the head. Let's check and see that all the shoulder hinges are in the forward position of the rail now. Lower the cover over the rocket thrusters, which are part of the tail section. I am flipping the tail section up. This is where I will insert the fist into the hollow space to hold the arms in place. Now I try to mount the gun pod. This is another fumbling mess. You see here, the gun pod handle fits onto slots on the left arm. The other arm has slots too that helps hold the gun pod in place. Time for step 7, where I close up the jet engine nozzles to change them from feet to an actual jet engine configuration. Straighten the leg. Looking like a jet engine now. The problem is that without the arms being secured, the gun pod will keep falling off as the arms move apart. Just like this falling off now. There are 2 pegs on the inside of the leg that plugs into slots on the arms. Getting these pegs to line up requires the arms to be correctly positioned from the earlier steps. There is also a peg on the top of the leg that plugs to the underside of the body. All this to keep the leg firmly in place when done right. Keep the leg straight. And here's another view of that top peg from another angle. So you really want to mount the gun pod while you're putting the fist into the tail section. If you didn't get the arms positioned correctly with the fist in the right place, the fish will not insert properly into the tail section. So that is quite a lot of jiggling and adjusting to get that done nicely. I found that I could leave a small gap between the arms and insert the gun pod. This seemed to help keep it from falling off. A lot of adjustments were needed to the arms and legs to mount the gun pod. I spent way too much time, probably around another 20 minutes, getting that gun pod mounted properly. I took the wings off to make it easier for me to handle the toy. It is easy to put the wings back. With the legs in place, let's take a look again at the leg attachment points. And here's the look at the top leg connection. Giving it a few more squeezes on the sides to keep it all tight together. Putting the wings back on. Duh! I am putting them back the wrong way around. So, got to take them off again and reattach them the correct way. Put back the wings and the fighter is now complete. Step 9 is the minor step of adjusting the tail fins. I am doing other fine adjustments instead. Well, let's get the stand ready. Time to put on the mounting accessory and put it on the stand so I can give the VF-0 a spin for you. The mounting accessory attaches to little slots on the sides of the jet intakes. I had some trouble getting the mounting accessory to attach into the slots. Finally got the mounting accessory on. I am just making sure it's tight and that it will not pop off. Let's get the VF-0S on the stand and make sure it doesn't fall off. Here is the VF-0S in fighter mode. It is a good look, yes? The standard VF-0S looks good. Now, I am going to put on the fast pack parts and the Ghost drone. I am going to rest it on the foam pad to help ensure I do not scratch the gun port on the underside. Putting the stand aside for now. Put on the leg boosters. Note the two packs on the inside of the leg booster. The leg booster also contains micro missiles. Give them a good squeeze to make sure they are attached tightly. Mounting the Ghost on the back, line up the VF-0S tail fins with the slots in the tail of the Ghost drone. The front legs of the Ghost drone snap into slots on those raised bumps on the fuselage. Attach the missile ports. I am lining up the edge of the black lines on the wing with scribe lines on the fuselage to help set both wings at the same angle. Some adjustments to get all the missile ports to point straight forward. It will look awkward if not oriented straight. It is all done. The VF-0S now has all the fast pack accessories and the Ghost drone mounted. Let's get it back on the stand. Oops. Well, maybe not on the stand right now. Let me do a flyby for you. Whoosh! 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 Check out the engine nozzle details. Back onto the stand. Let's look at it from different angles. The standard VF-0S looks good. It is so much more imposing with the Ghost drone and the fast-pack parts attached. The VF-0S fighter mode, similarly to the VF-1, resembles the F-14 with its classic swing wing design. Roy Focker's VF-0 in particular was patterned after the US Navy VF-84 squadron. Based on information from the macross mecha manual, the VF-0 is said to be able to fly up to Mach 2.74 and has a ceiling of around 75,000 feet. Unlike the VF-1, the VF-0 uses conventional turbofan jet engines and is not spaceflight capable. For science fiction, these specifications are not overly far-fetched. Not too much space magic when it comes to the flight characteristics. The VF-0 weapons are the head lasers, which in fighter mode becomes an underbody weapon, and the gun pod. The use of the gun pod is, in my opinion, an impractical weapon. How does the VF-0 mount the gun pod when transforming into fighter mode? There are no hands. Gun port flies into place. That is space magic right there. How would this actually turn out? He better go get his gun port back. Let's look at this scene from the Macross Do You Remember Love movie, where a VF-1 transforms from Batroid into fighter mode. The VF-1 is very similar to the VF-0. That transformation was very quick. It was done in 12 frames. Let's have a closer look at it. In this frame, the VF-1 had ejected the fast pack. The gun port is held in the right hand. This is right at the start of the transformation into fighter mode. The nose is coming up. The right arm with the gun port has moved to behind the leg. The gun port now already appears between the legs and stays in that position as the legs come up into fighter mode. It's one of the earliest key steps of the transformation to attach the gun port to a mounting point on the other arm. This is the mystery behind the space magic. Missiles are carried in pods which are mounted on the wings. The F-14 did not have wing-mounted weapons. All the F-14 weapons, which were typically missiles, were mounted to the underbody. The leg boosters are referred to as fast packs. Fast is a carryover from the US Air Force Fuel and Sensor Tactical Pack. The leg boosters are shown to carry missiles too. According to the macross manual, there are 24 micro missiles stuffed into each leg booster. In the anime, the macro missiles seemingly come out of the leg boosters from nowhere. One thing about macross, everybody, good guys and bad guys, everyone has a huge missile budget. The VF-0 carries defensive flare and shaft dispensers. Although the VF-0 is incapable of space operations, it is said to be able to operate underwater for short periods of time using energy stored in a battery system. The QF-2200D-B Ghost drone, I think, bears some semblance to the US MQ-25 drone. Reverse wing designs were a thing in the past, but that appears to have fallen out of favor due to stealth characteristics taking priority today. The Ghost drone was designed for high-G combat maneuvers, and more advanced versions of it were featured in later Macross timelines. Some final thoughts. I am happy with my purchase of the Bandai High Metal Owl VF-0S with Ghost Y Walker Edition. I think the inclusion of the accessories and Ghost drone made its price a good value compared to other High Metal Owl toys. The toy is more expensive today than when I bought it. Now that makes me feel better. Although the toy's metal joints may improve its durability, there are still parts that risk breaking and small parts that can get lost easily. For that reason, I would not suggest buying this for a child. I hope this review of the VF-0S has helped you with your understanding and appreciation of the toy. Tell me what you think in the comments. I hope that you will support my work by liking the video and subscribing. I look forward to you joining me in future videos.